What's going on, everybody? It's EricRayweather back here, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to play defense in Madden 19. This is Madden 19 Defense 101, more so beginner and intermediate friendly. We're going to cover all the basics that you need to know about defense to help step your game up on defense, whether you're playing online, playing a friend, or just playing against a computer. These are things that a lot of people overlook, and this will definitely help you out on defense. If you are new to the channel and you want to stay up to date on the best Madden 19 tips and gameplay all year long, consider subscribing below and hitting the bell so that you join the notification squad. Okay, so the first and most basic tip that you need to know about defense in Madden is matching personnel. You always want to match personnel to the offense. So if the offense were to come out in a set that has 3 wide receivers, you want to have at least 3 cornerbacks on the field, because you want to have the same amount of cornerbacks on the field as the offense does wide receivers. The reason being is you don't want to have a linebacker potentially matched up on a wide receiver, because that's a mismatch and that's a win for the offense. So let's cover the formations. You have 4-3. If it's a 3-4 based playbook, it'll be 3-4 instead, but they serve the same purpose. They're more of early down formations, more so when people are trying to run the ball. You have 2 cornerbacks in these formations. The difference between 4-3 and 3-4 is just the linebackers and the linemen. In a 4-3, you have 4 defensive linemen and 3 linebackers. In a 3-4, you have 3 defensive linemen and 4 linebackers, but they both serve the same purpose, more of a formation that you use when people are trying to run the ball. Same with the 4-6. You have 2 cornerbacks on the field. The only really main difference with this formation is one of the safeties comes down and lines up in the box. Now you have the nickel sets. Any nickel set is going to have 3 cornerbacks on the field. It could be nickel normal, nickel double A gap, nickel wide 9, nickel 3-3-5. The only difference is how the front guys line up. Some might have 3 linebackers and 3 defensive linemen. Some might have 4 defensive linemen and 2 linebackers. But the main key is you're going to have 3 cornerbacks on the field. Then you have the big nickel formation, which instead of having 3 cornerbacks, there's just an extra safety on the field where the 3rd cornerback would be. This is not one that I really recommend using. This is a little bit more of an advanced formation. So if you're going to use nickel, just use the regular nickel formations. Then you have the dime formation. This means you have 4 cornerbacks on the field. The dollar formation also has 4 cornerbacks on the field. The difference between dime and dollar is that dime has 4 linemen and 1 linebacker. Dollar has 3 linemen and 2 linebackers. So that's kind of up to a preference of you. If your opponent comes out in a set that has 4 wide receivers, you could use either of those. And then you have quarter, which you have 5 cornerbacks on the field. So let's say your opponent came out in this set, doubles halfback weak. Now, whether you're playing offline versus the computer or you're playing online, whenever the opponent picks their play, whatever play it is that they pick, a little box is gonna pop up on their side of the screen, and it's gonna tell you the personnel that they came out in. So in the case of the formation we just picked, it would say 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back. So you know that they have 3 wide receivers. You'll always know. So in that case, you need to pick a formation that's either nickel or higher, because there's a very high chance that they're going to be throwing the ball. You don't have to pick nickel. You could pick dime. You could pick dollar. The key is you need to at least pick nickel, because you at least need those 3 cornerbacks on the field. Now, if you're coming out in a zone play, the personnel isn't as crucial, I guess, just because everybody really plays a zone on the field. But you still want the appropriate speed on the field to match the speed of the offense. Now, the personnel would come more in handy if you're playing man, because in this case you actually have people that are manned up to wide receivers. So this is why it's key to have the personnel matched. Right here, Hayden he's a nickelback, he's a cornerback, he's on Smith-Schuster. But if we were to come out and say a 4-3, this wouldn't be a cornerback, he'd be a linebacker, and then he'd probably be lined up more to the inside as well. That would be a mismatch, because Smith-Schuster would probably cook a linebacker on any route. So you always want to match personnel. That's a big key. Now, let's look at the other side of things. Let's say they come out in a formation like this, and they're trying to run the ball. If they came out in that formation, the personnel would say 1 wide receiver, 2 tight ends, 2 running backs. The fullback being counted as one of the running backs. So they have 1 wide receiver on the field, so that means they're probably going to run the ball. So that means we would have to pick 4-3, 4-6, or if we were in a 3-4 playbook, we would pick 3-4. Doesn't matter which 4-3 you pick or which 3-4 you pick, there's different alignments. But you want to pick one of these formations because they're probably going to run the ball if they have 2 or less wide receivers on the field. There's a high chance at that. Another tip to go along with this is if they're coming out in those type of formations, you want to come out in a cover 4, because cover 4 is a good base defense, both in the NFL and in real life. A lot of people think cover 4 is just a prevent defense, and it can be that. But the main thing or main reason why cover 4 is good as a base defense is because the safeties are run-first defenders. They don't immediately backpedal. They play flat-footed and they read the play. Whereas if you called a cover 2 or cover 3, they would immediately start backpedaling or getting into their zone. In a cover 4, the safeties are in run fits. They're going to stay flat-footed. They're going to read the play. If they see that the play is a pass, then they'll get into their zones and start backpedaling and what have you. But if they see the ball get handed off, they immediately attack. So that's why this is a good base defense to run. Anytime someone comes out in 2 or less wide receivers, you want to come out in a formation that has 2 cornerbacks, and you want to typically use a cover 4 because if they do run the ball, you're going to be better equipped to stop it. You have more guys in the box, you have the safeties attacking, and you can't really get too far. Now there we got about a 5-yard gain. The linebacker kind of like whiffed on the tackle, but the key is putting yourself in position to succeed. You can also walk your safeties down a little bit if you just want them, more in the box, just to be a little bit closer to the running back. And we try to run the ball. We have the big bodies on the field. What you don't want to do is you don't want to come out in a pass defense when they're coming out in a formation that looks like it's a run. So let's say they came out in the same personnel, but we came out in a dime defense, okay? It said, hey, they have 1 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 2 running backs, and we came out in dime. We're going to get gashed. More than likely, we're going to get gashed every single play because this formation, I mean, look at this. We got about almost 20 yards before we were even touched. Because this is not a formation that is built to stop the run. Instead of having more linebackers on the field, we have cornerbacks on the field. They're smaller, they can't tackle as well, they're not as strong, they don't block shit as well. So there's very, very minimal chance of them. I mean, look at this. We're getting 15 yards every run because this is not a formation that's built to stop the run. There's not enough guys in the box, there's not enough big bodies on the field. So that's why matching personnel is important. Next thing we're going to talk about is usering a linebacker. I know this is kind of intimidating to some people that, aren't really used to doing that. They like to run on the D-line. Look, you don't have to be an elite user linebacker. You don't have to cover the whole field and cover multiple routes, but you need to be able to at least be, you could even be below average, but you just need to be able to have the ability to get in front of a route that your opponent wants to throw. Because a lot of people online aren't that complex in their offenses. They have 1 or 2 plays. A lot of them have 1 route that they just want to go to over and over, and if you let them do it, they're going to beat you. But if you just stand in front of that route that they have tunnel vision on, they'll either take the sack or throw it right to you and throw a pick because they don't have anything else. Let's just take this running back route to Bell here for an example. If we don't use this, I can literally throw this all day. It can be zone, it can be man. That was a zone defense. Here we'll just run a man defense. If we don't use this is just one of those routes that's good in Madden. It's going to beat the man every play. We'll get 5+ yards every single time we run this unless we manually take it away. So if you're using the defensive line, you really can never take this away because it's always going to be open. We're going to get 5 yards a pop, maybe more. Now the difference is if I get on my linebacker and I know this is coming, I'm just trying to take this away now. Now what is our opponent going to do? He's either going to freeze because he's going to say, oh, my route's not open, or he's going to throw it right to you because people are stubborn. They'll throw it right to you and you get a pick and then potentially even, maybe a pick 6. We shook Ben Roethlisberger. We got caught. But you see what I'm saying? You just have to sit in front of it. Let's say it's a slant route that someone just wants to throw. A slant route all game over the middle. If you don't get in front of this, he'll throw it all game. But look, I'm just sitting in front of it. If he throws it to me, I just press Y or triangle to go for an interception, and that's it. So you don't have to be an elite user, but you have to at least be comfortable enough, be brave enough to say, I know that this route is coming. Let me step in front of this route. At least try to swat it, pick it off. I'm not just going to give up the same route 20 times a game. I'm going to stand in front of it and force him to go somewhere else. Now, another thing I want to talk about is what's known as, we're going to come out in a different, this is known as base aligning. This is a way that you can disguise your defense in Madden. So let's come out in a cover, where's a cover 3? Just a regular cover 3. Cover 3 buzz press. Okay, so this is what base aligning can do, and it can confuse some people. So if you come out in a cover 3 and you don't base align, I don't know why they're aligning this way, because maybe it's the formation. Let me switch formations. But typically, if you come out in a cover 3, it's going to show a 1 high safety. So that's a giveaway that it's a cover 3. You see, we have one high safety. The other safety is down in the box because he's not in a deep zone. This is how a cover 3 aligns. If you base align your defense though, let me run a play though, because I clicked onto the safety, so he's not going to move. But if you base align the defense, as soon as you break the huddle, you press Y or triangle right on the left stick. And then look how the base aligns now. Now we have too high. Both of the safeties are at the top. So usually when you see a too high safety look, that could mean, hey, the defense is in a cover 2 or a cover 4. If you see a 1 high safety, it typically means the defense is in a cover 3 or a cover 1. If you base align, it's going to show 2 high safeties every play. Doesn't matter if you're in cover 2, cover 3, cover 4, man, cover 1. It's going to show the same alignment every play. So your opponent can never get a read on you. But if you don't base align and your opponent sees a 1 high safety, he knows, okay, there's a good chance my opponent's in a cover 3. So I'm going to pull out a play that I know beats cover 3. I'm going to audible to my cover 3 beating play. But if he sees 2 high safeties every play, he might think, oh, he's running a cover 2, but you're actually in a cover 3. That's how you disguise your defense in Madden. You base align. You do it as soon as you break the huddle. You press Y or triangle, and then right on the left stick, you will base align, and you will... It's not the biggest key in the world, but it's just important for always maintaining a defense that looks the same, at least in terms of coverage shells. They can never get a read on you. Now let's talk about shading coverage. The main key you need to know about shading coverage is just when to shade underneath, okay? Let's say if you play a lot of people online, a lot of people like to just throw to the flats, or, throw to the, he got lit up there actually, but a lot of people like to throw to the flats or, throw drag routes. And if you don't shade underneath, these can be open pretty much every time. You see here, look, I'm just throwing the bell. I'm getting upfield. I'm getting an easy 5 yards. We'll do it one more time. If you just come out in the coverage as it is, you don't make any adjustments, okay, the flats are open now. He dropped or the ball got overthrown, but you saw the space that I have. Now, watch what happens if I shade underneath. By shading underneath, this is all you have to do. You press Y or triangle and then down on the right stick. You do this. Now watch what happens. We try to throw to Le'Veon Bell now. Boom, this guy's right there. He lost 2 yards because we shaded underneath. The same can be said for drag routes, okay? Watch. I'm going to put Schuster on a drag. People always say this, man, drag routes are so hard to stop. They can just pick up 5+ yards a play. Look, drag routes wide open. So if I know, man, this guy just keeps throwing drags every play, I'm going to shade underneath. This is something you do in zone defense, not really so much man. It doesn't really affect anything in man. If you're in cover 3, cover 2, shade underneath. Wire triangle down on the right stick. We're going to run the same play. We're going to try to throw the drag to Smith-Schuster this time. Last time we got over 5 yards on the drag. This time, boom. We got about 3 yards. Let's go to a cover 2 and just see the difference, because cover 2 will probably be even better. Run a cover 2, shade underneath, run the drag. They're all over it because we're shading underneath. They're not going to get as many yards. And in some cases, they'll jump it for an interception. So if someone's abusing you in the flats, abusing you on drag routes, just shade your defense underneath. You don't want to do this every time. You want to kind of wait. You want to cat and mouse them. Maybe it's 3rd and 2 and you know he's going to that drag or he's going to that flat route because he always goes to it on 3rd and short. Shade underneath, you might even pick him off for a touchdown. One last big thing that you need to know about is how to stop scrambling QBs, because some people love to just abuse this in Madden. Guys, like Mariota, Deshaun Watson, they just love to scramble with the QB. So here we're not gonna change anything. We're just gonna scramble, and keep in mind Roethlisberger is pretty slow, right? But we're just gonna scramble a little bit. All right, we got 5 yards. The defense actually block shedded there and prevented us from getting more yards. But we'll just do it a few times. Again, okay, we got 7 yards. This is what happens if you don't make any changes. Someone's got a fast QB. They're just gonna keep running. They'll pick up 5-6 yards. If I do this every play and you don't change anything, I'm gonna run for 5 yards down the field and get a touchdown. What you can do is you can put one of your linebackers in a spy. You do this by pressing A or X, A on Xbox, X on PS4. You see the little box pops up and you see QB spy. It's left on the right stick. Now we have a spy on the field. So if we try to run now, this spy is there. You see how the spy, we got block shit there, but you see how the spy was following the QB. That's his job. When you put a QB spy on the field, his job is to watch the QB. That's all he does. if you put a spy on the field, you no longer can just run all over the field, because that spy is going to be, look how he's right there. He's not really letting me go anywhere. Now, Ben Roethlisberger's big self is just trucking through the linebacker. I'm going to go ahead and put Smith in the spy instead, just because I know he's a better linebacker. He can make better tackles. You see, I'm trying to run, and look at Smith. He's all over me. He's all over me because I put the spy on the field. We'll do it one more time. We'll even pinch the line here. I'm going to try to get outside the pocket. Watch what happens. Oh, I'm getting outside the pocket. Oh, no, Telvin Smith, he's all over me. He laid me out with a hit stick. I probably should have fumbled. You need to put spies on the field if you're dealing with people that just want to run the ball with the QB all day. They want to roll out, scramble out. Put a spy on the field, and it's a done deal every single time. So those are the basic tips for defense in Madden. These aren't groundbreaking tips by any means, but they're just decent basic tips for the beginner. You know, these are little things that I see in my comment sections throughout the years that people have trouble with. If you have these things under your belt, you already have a foundation laid for how to play better defense in Madden. Now, if you want more advanced defensive tips, stay tuned for the rest of the year, because I'll be dropping more advanced tips throughout the years, advanced schemes, blitzes, coverages. I also have my Patreon page where I drop ebooks and, even more advanced schemes. The link to that is in the description below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, as always, just drop a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.